Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. Animated cartoons experienced their glory in the 1950s and 60s, when many of the most recognizable and adored characters ever were created. There was no shortage of entertainment for both kids and adults, from the cat and mouse antics of Tom and Jerry, to the absurd humor of Looney Tunes, to the heroic adventures of Popeye. Other well-known animated series that made a buzz include the Pink Panther, the Jetsons, the Flintstones, Jabba Jaw, and even the enormous monster Godzilla. In this video, we'll talk about the top 50 cartoons of the 70s that have entertained us for decades and will likely keep entertaining us for many more years to come. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The Tom and Jerry Show. After years of eternal rivalry, Tom and Jerry finally called a truce. This was a significant diversion from the original storyline of the franchise. Although the characters didn't change, Tom is the same old clumsy but decisive cat, whereas Tiny Jerry is a smart yet playful mouse. The storyline changed drastically. Jerry, with a red bow tie, is seen shaking hands with Tom. They're often seen doing different adventures together, like playing sports, racing, solving mysteries, and roaming the world. They do compete sometimes, but it isn't like before. The violence was brought down majorly. It now has little to no violence and is a more gentle show. The show received a mixed reaction as the plot was changed entirely. While some fans were now disappointed, the show did receive new followers who enjoyed this newfound love among the duo. It was also appreciated for its updated animation style. The show's animation was more detailed and colorful, making it more visually appealing to viewers. Another reason why the show was so popular was the relatable themes and situations. Many of the episodes dealt with everyday situations that viewers could relate to. The all-new Popeye Hour. Another Hanna-Barbera creation, the all-new Popeye Hour was aired on television in 1978. This was an attempt to bring back the comic version of this cartoon. This version saw many changes compared to the previous one. The bald-headed, pipe-smoking spinach snacker had dropped his Navy uniform and was now wearing his sailor clothes with the white cap. The comic book's original villain, Bluto, was brought to life, replacing Blutus. The violence of the show was brought down. With bulging forearms and squinty eye and a distinctive gravelly voice, Popeye was now seen lifting Bluto with his arms or machines, only to throw him away. The mega Popeye punches were missing. The show continued having moral segments. These were small, untitled clips where Popeye teaches his nephews about certain good values and spreads awareness about saying no to alcohol, promoting immunization, and washing hands before meals. These segments had a significant impact on kids. People of all ages appreciated the show because of its less violent, humorous, and colorful approach. Popeye is more than just a comical animated figure, even though he is a cartoon character. He's evolved into an everlasting symbol of persistence and victory over adversity, and a representative of the American spirit. Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is an animated short film series with stories of distinctive characters. First aired in the 1930s, the golden age of American animation. Although Looney Tunes is a franchise that never went out of fashion, it did change from era to era. The 70s was a great year for Looney Tunes, as all the characters underwent a modern adaptation. New looks were given to keep the characters fresh and relevant, including Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Tweety Bird, Sylvester the Cat, and many more. The characters' unique personalities and quirks were still intact, and they all came together to create a world of comedy and chaos. The 70s also saw the introduction of Roadrunner's nemesis for the first time. Tasmanian Devil, or Taz for short, became a recurring character of the Looney Tunes gang. Although these characters were already a part of the franchise long ago, they only enjoyed a little screen time before the 70s. With the depiction of characters, the animation, the bright color scheme, and of course the music, there's never a dull moment in the Looney Tunes universe. The chemistry they shared with each other brought the franchise to life, and I think it's invincible now. Looney Tunes has evolved into more than just a library of cartoons throughout the years. The figures are now recognizable as part of popular culture and may be seen everywhere, from goods to theme parks to movies. But at its foundation, Looney Tunes continues to be a beloved classic that brings joy and laughter to viewers of all ages.
Work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
Scooby-Doo, where are you? First aired in 1969 for 2 seasons, this show is the first avatar of the Hanna-Barbera Saturday morning cartoon series, Scooby-Doo. When the mystery van stops on a shady, empty road on a dark night, do you know what time it is? It's time to solve a mystery. This is a mystery investigation series where the Scooby Gang works as detectives and fights evil. Fred and Velma find clues, Daphne finds danger, and Scooby and Shaggy find food, fun, and a monster. You'll watch them take on knights, demons, or ghosts, criminals, only to learn later that an evil man with ulterior intentions faked the crime. Because the beloved characters became so popular, this is one of the few classics kept for television reruns after 2009. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Is a classic animated television show that has significantly impacted wide audiences and the animation world, and has remained an inherent part of American popular culture. Its humorous yet spooky tone, beloved characters, and catchy theme song made it a groundbreaking program that set the standard for animated entertainment. Even though the show is no longer on the air, its legacy lives on through its beloved characters and catchphrases, and it'll come to be a part of American pop culture for years to come. Yikes! The Pink Panther Show. The Inspector and the Pink Panther staged the first Pink Panther show in 1969. One part of The Inspector was broadcast between two pieces of the Pink Panther due to the nature of the program. This short animated video series revolves around Pink Panther, an animated character originating from the opening credits of the movie The Pink Panther, released in 1963. Although the character is known for his sophisticated personality, which is often at odds with his mischievous behavior, he's known for his love of mischief and often gets into trouble while trying to pull off a prank. However, he always comes out on top thanks to his wit and resourcefulness. The opening scene made quite a buzz as a boy drives the Panthermobile from the countryside to Grauman's Chinese Theatre. He drops the Inspector and the Pink Panther at the theatre. While the Inspector returns to the Panthermobile and leaves, the Panther is seen chasing the vehicle. The jazz theme song was also one of the reasons that this show became so popular. Many adaptations of the show were later released on television and in theatres. The Pink Panther Show is a classic animated series that's had a significant impact on audiences till today. Its charming characters, witty humour, and memorable theme song have made it a unique program that continues to be enjoyed by audiences of all ages.
Join me, Batman. And me, Robin the Boy Wonder.
And Batgirl.
The New Adventures of Batman, 1977. This is among the most underrated Batman animated shows, but the combined efforts of Filmation and DC Comics ensured an entertaining season of Adventures of the Caped Crusader. The show has the familiar setting of Batman and Robin fighting crime in Gotham City, and while you get to see many popular Batman villains, there are some original entries as well. Batmite is also a fun addition to the show, and he tries to dress up like Batman and help him as his biggest fan. Of course, he ends up doing more harm than good, and acts as nothing more than a comic relief. This show is also memorable for being the only Batman adaptation without Alfred, his trusted butler. Some fans claim this to be the best animated version of Silver Age Batman, and it's not really an overstatement. It's an action-packed and entertaining version of the superhero, and the only problem is that it lasts a solitary season. Watch out for some of the new Batman villains, such as Sweet Tooth, Zabor, Professor Bubbles, and the Moon Man. Adam West and Burt Ward as the voices for Batman and Robin respectively is the icing on the cake. It's believed that Adam West had no plans of playing the role of Batman, but he changed his mind after the overwhelming affection from the fans and the gravity of the character. If you want your kids to start off with a more child-friendly version of Batman, this might be the show to choose. Space Ghost, 1966. Before he had his own successful talk show, he was an intergalactic crime fighter, and let us take you back to his glorious days. This Saturday morning classic, produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions, told the stories of the titular superhero as he took on villains across the universe in jaw-dropping adventures. The best thing about the narrative was that the makers chose to omit any form of backstory for the protagonist or his sidekicks, and they always appeared with masks. It's shocking how a late 60s cartoon series became one of the coolest superhero cartoon shows for kids across decades. Conceptually, the show was far ahead of its time, and the breathtaking animation was brilliantly designed and perfectly executed. This prompted us to bring Space Ghost into this list, purely for the influence it has on 70s cartoons. You'll get to witness some of the most diabolical villains in the show, and despite its campy nature, Space Ghost is a thorough entertainer for the kids. Enjoy this nostalgic journey through the past to revive your memories of just how wonderfully pure cartoons used to be. Space Ghost Coast to Coast in the 90s is also a fun show, but nothing compares to the brilliance of this action-packed original. Johnny Quest, 1964. The Quest family doesn't lead your average family life, as Dr. Benton Quest is a scientist who's summoned for various missions all the time. His son Johnny accompanies him for these cases that usually have something to do with unexplained strange phenomena. In this battle against unknown villains across the world, Dr. Benton Quest and Johnny are helped by their bodyguard Race Bannon, an Indian orphan named Haji who has some special abilities, and their unique bulldog named Bandit. Their adventures comprise a bulk of the episodes, and the show became so popular that it was reprised multiple multiple times. It's been almost 60 years, but this iconic cartoon show still remains fresh in the memories of the fans. We included this in our list because even though it's essentially a 60s cartoon, it set up the style and content for the 70s and inspired many similar shows. Everything about Johnny Quest, from the opening and closing music to the montage scenes, was impressive, and the constant sense of adventure made it thrilling for the kids who could witness exotic locations across the world from their couch. There have been some successful additions to the franchise, but the original still remains the best. Super Friends. As the name suggests, the show is based on superhero friends. Yep, you guessed it right. It's Superman and friends. The show was inspired by Justice League of DC Universe. The team initially consisted of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash. It later introduced superheroes like Green Lantern, Hawkman, and other DC Universe masterpieces. This group of friends was responsible for fighting evil and saving the planet. The depiction of the story was such that it promoted positive values like teamwork and friendship. Another notable aspect of Super Friends was its use of educational segments. In each episode, a short piece would teach children about a particular topic, such as history, science, or geography. These segments were designed to be entertaining and educational and help make the show famous amongst parents who wanted their children to learn while watching television. Super Friends helped popularize the superhero genre and inspired generations of children to work together and stand up for what's right. While the show may have been criticized for its simplistic formula and predictable storylines, it remains an integral part of the superhero mythos, and its legacy can still be felt in modern superhero adaptations. The Jetsons. While in 2023 we're still trying to figure out living on Mars, this show in 1962 showed human life in space. This show was an example of phenomenal imagination and fantastic storytelling. The advanced technology and the vision of what the future beholds were portrayed beyond excellence through this show. The show's central theme revolved around George Jetson, his wife Jane, and their children Judy and Elroy, living in space, where commute was done in flying cars, living in a high-tech apartment complex in the sky, alluring. Right? The show was known for its light-hearted, family-friendly comedy and often featured slapstick humor and wordplay. The Jetsons helped create an image of the future amongst young minds. The show's imaginative vision of a world filled with advanced technology, its clever humor, and its memorable characters have all contributed to its enduring popularity and have inspired generations of viewers to imagine what the future might hold. Despite its cancellation after just one season, The Jetsons remains a beloved part of American pop culture and a testament to the power of creative storytelling. Fred Flintstone and his friends. The show's main character, Fred Flintstone, was a beloved figure in American popular culture. He was known for his gruff voice, iconic yabba dabba doo catchphrase, and humorous antics. Fred was depicted as a working-class man living in the prehistoric town of Bedrock, and the show revolved around his adventures with his family and friends. The show featured a variety of animated shorts, including new episodes of The Flintstones and The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show, Yogi Bear, and The Jetsons. This combination of old and new content helped to make the show a hit with audiences of all ages, and contributed to its enduring popularity. In addition to Fred Flintstone, the show featured various other beloved characters from the Flintstones franchise. These included Fred's wife, Wilma, his best friend, Barney Rubble, and their children, Pebbles and Bam Bam. The show also introduced several new characters, such as the Great Gazoo, a tiny alien who befriended Fred and provided comic relief. Fred Flintstone and Friends is among the classic cartoons that continue to captivate audiences with its humor, iconic characters, and mix of old and new content. The show's enduring popularity is a testament to the power of creative storytelling, and its influence can be seen in subsequent animated series that have followed in its footsteps. Whether you're a fan of the Flintstones franchise or enjoy light-hearted, family-friendly entertainment, Fred Flintstone and Friends is a show that will delight and entertain.
It's Schoolhouse Rocky, the tip off the block of your favorite schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock is a series of animated musical educational videos from the 1970s. These videos aim to spread awareness of educational concepts among kids. The music and the explanation were kept simple, yet engaging. The original Schoolhouse Rock series consisted of 46 short animated videos that covered a wide range of topics, from grammar and math to history and civics. The videos were designed to be shown during commercial breaks on Saturday morning cartoons, and they quickly gained a large following among children and adults. One of the reasons behind the popularity of the show was its memorable music. Each video featured a unique song written and performed by famous musicians. The pieces were designed to be fun and informative, and they helped the viewers to understand the concepts and even remember them. The concepts chosen were so fundamental that they're relevant even today. For instance, the process of passing a bill or teaching the number system. So, if you know a child who asks too many questions, you know where to find the answers now. Most of America grew up watching this, and as parents, they passed this on to future generations.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
The Underdog Show, an iconic animated program. The Underdog first aired in 1964. Underdog is a dog superhero. The humble and lovable Shoeshine Boy was his disguise. When called for help, the Shoeshine Boy would duck into a telephone booth and transform into Underdog. His catchphrase, "No need to fear when Underdog is here," gained popularity. The show saw a few repetitive villains like Simon Barr's Sinister, the Mad Scientists, Riff Raff, a wolf gangster, the Electric Eel, and many more. As part of the scheme, the villains mostly victimized Sweet Polly Purebred, who's a reporter, while fighting the threat and saving Sweet Polly Underdog, which would cause a lot of collateral damage to the city. The Underdog Show is a fun and entertaining series that's an American classic. Its blend of humor, action, and memorable characters makes it a favorite among viewers. Although the animation isn't top-notch, the series does justice to its timeline. If you're a fan of classic cartoons, this is undoubtedly a must-watch for you. The Muppet Show. It's a classic, one-of-a-kind comedy series based on puppetry. It was aired in 1976 and ran for 5 years till 1981. It featured Muppets who sing, dance, perform sketches, and even play the band. The most famous character from the show is Kermit the Frog. He introduces the show and the celebrity guest. Yep, you heard it right. Each episode had a special invitee who performed with these Muppets. The special guests were plentiful, varied, and always A-list for the time. Its unique idea and characters made the audience fall for its charm and humor. The Muppet Show is a timeless animated series that has impacted popular culture. The idea, animation, and depiction of each character were very distinctive back then. People appreciated and enjoyed its lovable characters, hilarious comedy, and memorable music. Whether you grew up watching The Muppet Show or are discovering it for the first time, it'll surely bring a smile and a song to your heart. Battle of the Planets. Battle of the Planets was the first English-language adaptation of Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, first aired in 1978. The makers had international rights of Science Ninja Teams for 30 years. As a result, various foreign language dubs have been released in multiple countries across the globe. The Japanese anime served as a motivation for this show and was edited to please younger viewers and sci-fi fandom. Gatchaman underwent heavy reversioning to become Battle of the Planets. This included rebranding the original characters into Mark G1, Jason G2, Princess G3, Keop G4, and Tiny Harper G5, forming the G-Force. A super-intelligent robot named Seven-Zark 7 was added to fill in the gaps left behind by edits. The G-Force is a group of 5 superhero ninjas responsible for saving the planet from intergalactic threats, including the villainous Spectra, an alien race bent on taking over the universe. The G-Force is a group of 5 superhero ninjas equipped with advanced technology like wrist-communicating bands. Phoenix. Commuter gained a cult following in America. The series featured a unique and exciting blend of science fiction, action, and adventure that captivated audiences. The show's unique visual style, compelling characters, and thrilling storyline made it a cult classic. Hong Kong Phooey. The story opens with Rosemary getting a call about a crime in the city. Henry is an animated dog janitor at a police HQ. The janitor overhears the conversation and rushes to the filing room to change himself into Hong Kong Phooey, a superhero with incredible kung fu skills and a keen sense of justice. He also has his sidekick to help him, Spot, a cat. While Henry is a calm, charismatic dog, his alter ego is a clumsy kung fu enthusiast. While fighting crime, he often gets stuck in some hilarious scenario and either always gets lucky or Spot manages to rescue him and finishes the job Hong Kong Phooey started. Unfortunately, Hong Kong Phooey is ignorant of Spot's actions and assumes that he defeated the villain. The series featured many villains, including the evil Dr. Disguise, the Claw, and the Giggler, who were always foiled by Hong Kong Phooey and Spot. The show was also known for its humor, with Hong Kong Phooey's clumsy antics often leading to hilarious situations. The show was also notable for its use of Asian-inspired imagery and kung fu references, which helped make it a favorite among fans of martial arts films. Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels is an animated series aired in 1977. The Teen Angels were 3 girls named Dee Dee, Taffy, and Brenda who worked as amateur detectives. Once, while investigating a case, they stumbled upon a block of ice and thawed Captain Caveman from it. He's a superhero from the prehistoric era who is frozen in ice for thousands of years. As Teen Angels rescued him, he joined the girls as their leader. They together solve supernatural cases and fight crimes using Captain Caveman's strength and Teen Angel's detective skills. Together, they make a heck of a team. This series was one of many variants of the Scooby-Doo comedy mystery format. Each of the teen angels had a unique personality and skill set, with Dee Dee being the brains of the group, Taffy being the beauty, and Brenda being the athlete. The show was notable for its blend of comedy, action, and mystery, with each episode featuring a new crime for the teen angels and Captain Caveman to solve. The show's villains included a variety of supernatural creatures, such as ghosts, mummies, and aliens, which helped make the show a hit with younger audiences. The show only ran for 2 seasons, but remains a beloved classic that continues to entertain audiences today. The show's legacy can be seen in popular culture's many references and parodies, including an appearance in the 2018 film Ready Player One. Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats, aired in 1970, showed a group of all-girl rock band who also possessed detective skills. The premise was similar to Scooby-Doo, where girls travel to different locations and solve mysteries. It was one of the first shows adapted from Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Josie McCoy, the band's lead singer, Melody Valentine, the snarky drummer, and Valerie Brown, the bassist, were the show's primary protagonists. The trio formed a close bond both on and off stage. The show was also notable for depicting strong, independent female characters. The Pussycats were talented musicians who also happened to solve mysteries, and they often took charge of their own adventures. Although the show went off the air after just 1 season, it did impact young minds and exhibited concepts like empowered, brave, intelligent, and creative women. The show's positive portrayal of women and its memorable characters ensure that it'll be enjoyed by generations to come.
You'll have some fun now with me and all the gang.
Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids is the creation of the comedian Bill Cosby. He created, directed, produced, and hosted this show. He even gave a voiceover to the male protagonist, Fat Albert. The show was first aired in 1972, and it was a massive hit amongst fellow Americans, so much so that it was followed by 8 seasons and 3 specials. The show is based on Bill Cosby's childhood experiences with his gang while growing up in Philadelphia. The story revolves around Fat Albert, his friend Bill, himself, and other friends, and how they live in the city. The show features an educational lesson in each episode, emphasized by Cosby's live-action segments, where he'd interact with the kids and provide life lessons to the children and viewers. The show is known for its positive messages and focus on values such as friendship, self-esteem, and education. At the end of every episode, the gang would come together and jam to a song to summarize the episode's lesson. The show also tackled critical social issues, such as drug abuse, peer pressure, and bullying. These topics were handled with sensitivity and care. Looking back at the show, I'd say it should be praised for its diverse characters, teachings, music, and entertainment.
Here come the bears.
Let's split. Hell, it's the Hair Bear Bunch.
Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch, a Saturday morning cartoon produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions in 1971. The storyline is such that the 3 fun-loving bears, the afroed, fast-talking Hair Bear, confusing-talking Booby Bear, and laid-back Square Bear trying to escape Wonderland Zoo, either for fun or to make some quick bucks. While the zoo director tries to stop them, they keep planning such escapes relentlessly, sometimes to see a movie or roam around in the city. Mr. Peevely and his useless assistant Butch always conflict with this bear bunch. Apart from their failed escape plans, another reason for this conflict is that this bear bunch tries to steal food from the director's office refrigerator. Their den is more advanced than the director of the zoo thinks. They have Murphy beds, an oven, a pool table, and many other conveniences. Hair Bear is at the top of the zoo hierarchy. He has a good rapport with other zoo members, and they trust him to the extent that no matter what goes wrong, they're always on his side, following each of his commands without question. The Hair Bear Bunch was a beloved cartoon series that captured viewers' hearts in the 70s. Its characters, humor, and message of perseverance continue to make it a favorite today. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it yet. The Roman Holidays. Another popular weekend animated series, though it is said that the Roman Holidays series was an attempt to replicate the successful format of the Flintstones, a modern family living in Roman times. I'd say it was a job well done. The intro highlighted the show's adventurous spirit, as the siblings were shown riding a Vespa, flying in a hot air balloon, and even exploring ancient Roman ruins. This was a mix of historical fiction and comedy, as the show followed the daily lives of the Holidays and their friends and neighbors in Rome. The show often references historical figures and events, such as the assassination of Julius Caesar and the reign of Emperor Augustus. The Roman Holidays' use of contemporary slang and humor in a historical setting was one of its unique aspects. The characters often used phrases like groovy and far out, which gave the show a distinct 70s vibe. This was in contrast to other animated performances of the time, which tended to be more conservative in their language and humor. The Roman Holidays had only a 13-episode run, yet it was a popular program in the 1970s. The show's mix of historical fiction and modern humor resonated with audiences and helped to establish Hanna-Barbera as a leading producer of animated television.
World's most perfect electronic robots, the Robotic Stooges.
The Robotic Stooges. The Robotic Stooges was yet another addictive Saturday morning broadcast. Such creativity from almost 5 decades ago baffles me every time. Moe, Larry and Curly are junkyard superheroes. Did I mention bionic superheroes? The trio was seen fighting crime and bad guys using their often malfunctioning bionic abilities. The Three Stooges work under Agent 000, who's constantly annoyed by the trio's antics. The Bionic Stooges are given a task by their boss, who speaks to them through a movie projector in each episode. The Stooges carry out their missions using their new bionic abilities, which often malfunction, leading to hilarious and chaotic situations. The Adventures of the Three Stooges were full of silly situations, action-packed scenes, and hilarious comedy. Despite having just one season, the Bionic Stooges is still regarded as a revered classic by followers of the first Three Stooges series, and viewers of all ages continue to enjoy its lovable characters and fun stories.
It's time for the Groovy Ghoulies show.
Groovy Ghoulies, an extremely unique American animated TV show from the 70s. The show features a one-of-its-kind gang of classic monsters such as Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, and the Mummy, among others. The program's plot revolved around a gang of monsters who resided in Horrible Hall, a terrifying castle outside of a place named Transylvania. The Ghoulies were featured in various misadventures in each show episode, frequently containing musical numbers and hilarious jokes. Teenagers who often stumbled onto their castle were among the humans they interacted with. Early in the 1970s, Groovy Ghoulies was a hit with kids and has since gained cult status. Many people who grew up watching the show still remember it fondly, especially for its memorable theme tune, We're the Groovy Ghoulies. Despite its short run, Groovy Ghoulies has since become a cult classic, and its colourful characters continue to be beloved by fans. Godzilla. If the monster world was Hogwarts, then Godzilla was Harry. Yeah, I said it. Godzilla is an American animated monster television series from 1978. The show follows the thrilling quest of a group of researchers. Joining them in their journey is Godzuki, Godzilla's cowardly nephew and one of the characters, Pete's best friend. Godzuki assumes the humorous position in the show. He can barely fly with his tiny wings and coughs up smoke rings when trying to breathe fire like his uncle. The gang of scientists often call upon the giant Godzilla when in need, as their adventures take them face to face with other giant creatures. Godzuki's weak roar works like a signal to summon Godzilla. This friendly giant is one of the few monsters that can never go out of date. While Godzilla's popularity has waxed and waned over the years, the character remains a beloved part of popular culture and has inspired numerous imitations and homages. Dastardly and Motley in their flying machines. Dastardly and Motley is an American classic animated TV show. You're fortunate if you remember those Saturday mornings when the show was broadcast. The show is about Dastardly and his furry sidekick Motley, who are German villains from another TV series called Wacky Races. These two are now shown to be ace pilots in World War II with the sole objective of catching a Yankee Doodle pigeon who carries secret messages of the enemy, giving the show its theme song, Stop That Pigeon. Watching how this show had the same story but was portrayed with variations every single time was amazing. The process begins with Zilly, an anxious pilot, trying to abandon the mission and Motley stopping him. Clunk jumped in with a plan, usually involving planes with his inventions. They're brilliantly unsuccessful every time, either with a flawed strategy or a member messing up. Dastardly and Motley are known for their comedy and unique characters, so much so that it's still a fan favorite for reruns.
I don't get no respect.
Jabba Jaw. Meet Jabba Jaw, the coolest drummer you'll meet out there. But he isn't an ordinary drummer. Jabba Jaw is a massive 15-foot great white shark. He's a passionate member of a rock band named Neptune with 4 others. They're ocean dwellers in a futuristic civilization. They tour the underwater cities and encounter villains wishing to take over the undersea world. Jabba Jaw brings a whole new level of awesomeness to the group, making them invincible in their mission to protect the water, thanks to his distinct personality and musical ability. It has a format similar to that of Scooby-Doo and Flintstones-like cartoons, and is also highly inspired by the 70s shark attack trend with the release of the movie Jaws. What makes this sharky shark unique is his ability to shapeshift into objects like a hammer, parachute, or even a piano. My favourite part of the show was at the end when Jabba Jaw and the band were engaged in a chase sequence committing all kinds of cartoonish acts, with a song playing in the background by the Neptunes. Jabba Jaw reminded us that true talent and determination can come from unexpected places, and that diversity and uniqueness should be celebrated. That's something today's creators must revisit.
socket, plugs,
Motor.
tires, chassis, speed buggy.
The grand success of Josie and the Pussycats and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Led to the creation of Speed Buggy. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, Speed Buggy debuted with its first season on CBS in 1973. The series follows the adventures of Debbie, Mark and Tinker, three mystery-solving teenagers who participate in racing competitions with their dune buggy. Speedy, a beloved vermilion dune buggy, is unlike any other, with its anthropomorphic nature and a penchant for solving mysteries. With his bright blue eyes in the form of headlights and a front grille that forms his mouth, Speedy showcases the qualities of an endearing St. Bernard and plays the role of a wacky hero in the series. The trio is known as the Speed Bugs, and together they activate the talking buggy with the help of a walkie-talkie. Speedy was the brainchild of a teen mechanic of southern origin known as Tinker. Tinker is not only the buggy's designated driver, but also his best friend. Tinker is accompanied by Mark, an ingenious teenager who's better known as the brain of their little group, and their leader, Debbie, who's as bright as she is beautiful, completes the trifecta. During their adventures, the group travels all around the world collecting trophies and saving the world from outlaws and crooks like robbers, evil doctors, and notorious pirates, to name a few. The show had a short run and only lasted for a season with 16 episodes. However, it captured the attention of MBS, CBS and ABC, the big three television networks. The show was enjoyed by the shared fan bases of Josie and the Pussycats and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, while others criticized its monotonous theme and considered it run-of-the-mill. Land of the Lost. With the emerging trend of stop-motion animation techniques, this 70s cartoon presented a vivid combination of live action and stop-motion to create Land of the Lost, an American cult classic. Land of the Lost follows the adventures of Rick Marshall and his children, Will and Holly, who find themselves stuck in a time warp surrounded by dinosaurs, a species of primate-like people, and hostile reptilian humanoids who are similar to insects and are called Sleestack. Throughout the series, the episodes explore not only the family's attempts to survive and find a way to go back to their timeline, but also the lives of the inhabitants of their present world. Although the show originally started out with a serious storyline, thanks to the contributions of some notable science fiction writers, it gradually outgrew its overripe intensity. Prepared for a short camping trip, the Marshalls fall down a 1,000-foot waterfall and are unexpectedly transported through a strange portal known as a time doorway into a parallel universe. The portal brought them to the Land of the Lost, a treacherous paradise with prehistoric creatures, primitive tribes, and strange reptilians. A recurring character who visits the family's cave is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, nicknamed Grumpy. Another friendly dinosaur is a gentle young Brontosaurus named Dopey by Holly, who treats him as a pet. On the other hand, the trio also comes across a variety of deadly creatures, weird topography, strange technology, and the large hostile Sleestack. One of the Pakuni, called Chaka, is a creature they befriend. An Altrusian castaway known as Enoch helps them achieve their objective of finding a way to go back to their world. The epic-scale premise of the limited-budget children's television series Land of the Lost, which depicted an enigmatic zone whose location is unknown and packed with exotic creatures and intriguing technology, is worth mentioning. A parody feature film based on the original series for adult audiences was released in 2009.
Water in your ears?
The Great Grape Ape Show. Revolving around the central character of a 40-foot purple ape with a childlike personality, the Great Grape Ape Show originally started as a segment of the Tom and Jerry Grape Ape Show. Within the next 3 years, the Great Grape Ape Show found recognition as a half-hour show broadcast on Sunday mornings. The show explores the countryside adventures of the Grape Ape and his friend Beagle Beagle. The Grape Ape calls him Beagly Beagly and is driven around by his canine companion in his tiny yellow van. The Grape Ape has a distinct catchphrase in which he repeats his name twice as a symbol of agreement. Despite being terrified of his gigantic sight at first, the Purple Ape is an endearing and lovable character to those around him. In contrast to his frightening size, the Grape Ape is portrayed as a gentle and playful character who channels his strength to help those in need. The series had a laugh track produced by the studio, like many animated shows Hanna-Barbera produced in the 1970s. Overall, the show has given us a beloved character in the form of a wholesome Purple Ape and a timeless example of unadulterated companionship. The New Fantastic Four. The second animated series based on the Marvel comic book series Fantastic Four was named The New Fantastic Four. The original comic book characters were the Human Torch, the Thing, the Invisible Girl, and Mr. Fantastic. However, in the 1978 animated series, the Human Torch was replaced by a friendly robot, since the television rights to the Human Torch were tied up in a separate film in development by Universal Studios. The impulsive, hot-headed hero's character was replaced by a robot named Herbie. The acronym stands for Humanoid Experimental Robot B-Type Integrated Electronics. The newest addition to the team possessed a wide range of technological abilities, all packed into the form of a cute white robot. However, after introducing the character Herbie in the television show, the character was added to the comic book lore to make it canon. Reed Richards, better known as Mr. Fantastic, a fantastic scientist with the ability to stretch his body to amazing lengths, is the leader of the team. His faithful partner, Susan Storm Richards, who goes by the moniker of Invisible Girl, and his best friend Benjamin J. Grimm, also known as The Thing, fight crime alongside him. The trio received their powers after tragically getting exposed to cosmic radiation, which gave Reed the ability to stretch, Sue the ability to be invisible whenever she wishes to, and Benjamin the exterior of a tough, rock-like structure with superhuman strength. Together with Herbie the Robot, they form the Fantastic Four, a fresh take on a classic superhero team with never-seen-before characters and unique storylines that instantly garnered their own fanbase. The top-notch animation style, complemented by vivid colors and equipped with advanced action-packed scenes, kept the viewers engaged and contributed to expanding the Marvel fandom. Harlem Globetrotters. Harlem Globetrotters made history by being the first ever Saturday morning cartoon that featured a cast primarily of African-American characters based on the real-life basketball team called the Harlem Globetrotters. The show has 2 seasons and a total of 22 episodes, 16 in the 1970-71 season and 6 in the 1971-72 season. Freddie Neal, Cosby, Bobby Joe Mason, J.C. Gibson, Meadowlark Lemon, and Paul Robertson, as well as Granny, their fictitious bus driver and manager, and Dribbles, their canine mascot, are featured in the show as they go on adventures. The series inspired many kids to pursue the sport and inculcated a sense of sportsmanship among young viewers. A running theme of the show involved the team traveling the world and finding themselves in conflicts that could be solved with a game of basketball. Their opponents use underhanded methods in an attempt to defeat the Globetrotters. However, the team manages to beat the odds and ultimately win. Despite the repetitive formula, the characters were easy to root for, which kept the fanbase engaged and entertained. With a balanced blend of basketball action, humor, and a side of adventure, the series managed to pack sports into a light-hearted package and bring it to viewers who instantly warmed up to the characters. Inch High, Private Eye. With only 13 episodes, this animated television series is as short as its titular character, Inch High. The character was designed after Maxwell Smart from Get Smart, a comedy television series from 1965 to 1970. Inch High Private Eye is based on an inexplicably tiny detective of the same name who is exactly 1 inch high. His height is the result of his drinking a mysterious potion that shrank him. Inch High has also appeared with Batman's aid in a Cartoon Network commercial to fight crime, resulting in him being crushed while running towards the Batmobile. Inch is aided in solving cases by his helpful blonde niece Laurie, her muscular Gator, and their canine companion Braveheart. The team drives around in the Hushmobile, which, as its name suggests, makes no sound, and thus helps in tailing criminals without alerting them. The Pinkerton Detective Agency is run by Mr. Pinkerton, who dreams about firing Inch. Despite being a cartoon, the characters are all depicted as adults in the series. The show's selling point is the unique stature of its protagonist, who, despite his size, has a big heart and an even bigger brain. The animated TV show delivers a lesson to its younger viewership by immaculately using animal characters to show that every individual has different personalities and abilities. The Jackson 5. Based on the fictionalized animated depiction of the lives of the American pop band called the Jackson 5, the show was animated in studios from a range of locations such as London, Barcelona, and Tokyo. The show was backed by the music tracks made by the original Jackson 5. The cartoon was mostly animated but included live footage of the band in certain musical scenes and even displayed live photographs of the 5 members: Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Michael, and Marlon. Since Michael Jackson has many pets in his real life, the series added similar characters to the show, which included pet mice named Ray and Charles, and a snake called Rosie the Crusher. The pets, however, didn't have the ability to speak in the show. They aided the Jackson brothers and sometimes appeared in their performances as well. The storyline follows the adventures of 5 brothers in a band and their manager, Berry Gordy, similar to Alvin and the Chipmunks. Berry Gordy plays a significant role in organizing the publicity events of the band. One of the major performances included a concert for the President of the United States. The series was rebroadcast during the peak of Michael Jackson's solo career. With the legendary Diana Ross appearing as herself in the pilot episode, the show was destined to be a hit among the fan bases of all the artists featured on it. Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics. Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics was a marathon of 5 cartoon segments, including the Blue Falcon and Dynamite Laugh Olympics, the Scooby-Doo Show, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, and Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. By the second season, the Blue Falcon and Dynamite and Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Had been removed from the ensemble, shortening the runtime from the original 120 minutes to 90 minutes. However, by the 1979-80 season, the entire ensemble was cancelled, and Scooby-Doo earned its own half-hour show known as Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. while Laugh Olympics and Captain Caveman made their return on ABC in 1980. The segment of Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels featured a prehistoric caveman superhero who was emerged from a block of ice as the companion of 3 female adolescent detectives. While Laugh Olympics was based on Battle of the Network Stars, featuring 45 characters produced by Hanna-Barbera, along with Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear and others participating in Olympic-style competitions. The Blue Falcon and Dynamite was a show about the Blue Falcon, a friendly neighborhood superhero and his babbling cybernetic dog, Dynamite, who assists him in his missions. The All-Star Laugh Olympics was cherished by children and adults during its time. It's fondly regarded as memorable for bringing together some of the most beloved characters produced by Hanna-Barbera in a never-seen-before format. The Batman Tarzan Adventure Hour. Produced by Filmation Associates, the Batman Tarzan Adventure Hour premiered on CBS in 1977-1978, and it aired an amalgamation of Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle's second season, and reruns of the New Adventures of Batman. In the later seasons, the series was renamed Tarzan and the Super 7, extending the runtime to 90 minutes by adding more content to the ensemble. Tarzan, the Lord of the Jungle, was the first animated adaptation of the classic Tarzan stories by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The program featured the heroic actions of Tarzan, the king of the jungle, as he fended against various dangers to his home in the jungle, such as poachers, wicked scientists, and rival tribes. While the New Adventures of Batman featured the DC comic hero Batman, his love interest Batgirl, and his loyal sidekick Robin as they battled against various villains in Gotham City, the show presented a fresh combination of traditional animation and crime-fighting action. By 1980, NBC had taken over the reruns of Batman and the Super 7, while Tarzan was aired in the Lone Ranger Adventure Hour. The voice cast of the animated series featured well-known actors, including Tarzan actor Robert Ridgely and Batman actor Adam West. 2 popular franchises were brought together by Filmation and offer the viewers a combined dose of entertainment, resulting in their popularity.
Return to the Planet of the Apes.
Return to the Planet of the Apes. The storyline involves 3 American astronauts who end up in a future inhabited by 3 kinds of civilizations. The humans who took shelter in desert caves were classified as mute, while a subterranean type of settlers were called the Underdwellers. The third group was a group of advanced primates who ruled over humankind. In contrast to the first film, its sequels and the live-action television series, which presented a primitive ape society, Return to the Planet of the Apes depicted a modern society equipped with vehicles, cinema, and television. It thus mirrored Pierre Boulle's original work and the early ideas for the first Apes movie that were modified due to financial limitations in the late 1960s more closely. Some of the notable characters of the show include Bill Hudson, Jeff Allen, and Judy Franklin, the 3 astronauts who crash land on the planet and each use their compassion, courage, and determination to help the human slaves on the planet while trying to find a way to get back home. The main antagonist of the series is General Urko, a gorilla whose fierce loyalty to the ape government has made him determined to crush any form of human rebellion and plan to eliminate humankind and its underdwellers from the planet. Zira is a chimpanzee scientist who's outspoken about the inhumanity of the regime and questions the authority of the ape government. Zira's husband Cornelius is a scientist like her. However, he tries to avoid confrontations with the ape government. The show's ratings weren't all that impressive. To wrap up the plot, the network considered airing a second 3-episode season, but this never happened.
Chop. Chip.
The Electric Company. With a star-studded cast featuring actors like Morgan Freeman, Bill Cosby, Rita Moreno, Judy Graubart, and Lee Chamberlain, The Electric Company was produced by Sesame Workshop and successfully aired for 6 seasons with 780 episodes. The show portrays a group of friends known as the Electric Company, based in an imaginary city. The company uses its powers to help children develop their reading skills. The company consists of fictional characters like Easy Reader, played by Morgan Freeman, Fargo, North Dakota, played by Skip Hinnant, and the blonde-haired cartoon man, played by Mel Brooks. A group of young musicians known as the Short Circus regularly perform songs and sketches about language and reading comprehension on the show. The show is divided into several segments, each featuring sketches or musical episodes. The Electric Company remains a fond memory for those who grew up watching it. With the incorporation of humor and music, the show delivered important lessons in a fun and engaging manner. Unfortunately, the show was cancelled right at the peak of its popularity. Unlike its parallel show, Sesame Street, which profited from merchandising its characters, the Electric Company couldn't manage to do the same.
It's up to you and me.
Yogis Gang. Yogis Gang is the second on-screen adaptation of the Yogi Bear franchise and tackles major issues like bigotry and ecology, with antagonists like Mr. Waste, Dr. Bigot, the Greedy Genie, Lotta Litter, the Envy Brother, and Mr. Cheetah, while delivering a message of peace and kindness. The main character of the show is Yogi Bear, who's smarter than the average bear, and serves as the leader of the group, helping them attain their mission of making the world a better place. His loyal sidekick is Boo Boo Bear, who remains the voice of reason and the guide of common sense for the group. They're accompanied by Snagglepuss, a pink mountain lion who uses theatrical forms of expression quite often. Huckleberry Hound and Quick Draw McGraw are among the other characters who make brave appearances on the show. Together, Yogi and his gang encounter various challenges in the form of complex characters who are not inherently evil, but rather embody the issues prevalent in society. Unlike other variants of the franchise, Yogi's Gang is the only show with a laugh track in it. Owing to its successful run, the show grabbed the attention of major networks such as Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Boomerang. Star Trek, the animated series. As the second incarnation of the Star Trek franchise, the characters remain mostly unchanged from Star Trek, the original series. Based on the 23rd century, the show explores a fictional universe where Earth is a member of a multi-species organization known as the United Federation of Planets. Starfleet, the military and exploration branch of the Federation, manages a fleet of starships that roam across space, making contact with alien civilizations. It depicts the voyages of the USS Enterprise, a Starfleet ship under Captain James T. Kirk's command, as it travels across the Milky Way galaxy. The cast of the USS Enterprise, which is led by Captain James T. Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, and Lieutenant Uhura, appears in the animated series along with the same personalities and scenes as their live-action counterparts. New alien species and characters are also included in this version of the franchise. The series does justice to its complex themes and ideas, tackling questions of morality and ethics in a fun-packed and easy-to-digest animated form. The animated nature of the series served as an advantage in the portrayal of some fantastical storylines, such as shape-shifting aliens, which would have been too expensive or difficult to portray in the live-action version. Star Trek, the animated series, raised a generation of sci-fi nerds and expanded the loyal fan base of the original franchise, all while continuing its legacy.
Yeah! Scooby-Dooby-Doo! And Dynamite too!
Dynamite Dog Wonder. Originating from a segment of the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour and later expanding as a part of Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, Dynamite's character found recognition in the animated television series that aired from 1976 to 1977, centered around a millionaire superhero known as the Blue Falcon and his canine partner Dynamite, the Dog Wonder. Often due to his clumsy mechanical encounters at the Falcon's lair, the Blue Falcon refers to him as Dog Blunder. Dynamite is a mechanical robot dog equipped with an infinite number of high-tech gadgets built into his body, such as extendable legs, retractable propellers, and built-in radars. Together, the duo fights crime and protects the citizens of Big City. Backed by a laugh track, the show uses visual gags to set a comedic tone paired with slapstick humor and build suspense by featuring cliffhangers right before commercial breaks. It's insinuated that the Falcon is more of a sufferer of the Dog Wonder's blunders than a master of him. Despite the hilarious mishaps, the duo manages to rise against their odds and attain victory against nefarious plots. The episodes often include guest appearances from Scooby-Doo and Mystery Inc. The show remains a nostalgic favorite among fans of both franchises. Wait till your father gets home. This animated sitcom follows the Boyle family, with father Harry, mother Irma, and kids Alice, Chet, and Jamie. Hanna-Barbera borrowed inspiration from All in the Family, which led to the creation of Wait Till Your Father Gets Home, which managed to run for 3 seasons with a total of 48 episodes. Several guest stars voiced made-up versions of famous personalities like Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. To separate it from Hanna-Barbera's other work, a slow, triple-layered belly laugh was added to the show. Based in a suburban setting, Harry is a restaurant equipment dealer and frequently argues with his teenage feminist daughter Alice and his lazy, unemployed son Chet about social issues, while his wife Irma remains neutral, leaving Jamie, the greedy younger son, to side with his father. Another notable character is Ralph Kane, their right-wing, anti-communist conspiracy theorist neighbor who overshadowed Harry's conservative views. Ralph's views are supported by a senior citizen, Sarah Whitaker, whom he refers to as Sergeant. Despite considering Ralph a friend, Harry is annoyed by his extreme views and often disagrees with him. Many episodes focus on the generation gap between Harry and his children, with the show generally taking Harry's side. The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. In this show, The well-known Chinese detective Charlie Chan is joined by his 10 children, his dog named Choo Choo, and other characters as they work together to solve crimes and capture crafty criminals. The family sets out on a worldwide journey in their customized Chan van, which was created by young genius Alan Chan and can convert into a different configuration at the touch of a button. The Chan children formed smaller groups as they conducted their investigations, with the elder brothers Henry and Stanley frequently operating the Chan van. Stanley frequently dons ridiculous disguises to help him in their detective job, much to his older brother's dismay. The Chan kids had a music group named Chan Clan, like other Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the time. The animated series was accompanied by various licensed products such as a board game, a jigsaw puzzle, a lunchbox with a thermos, and a comic book series. The 1925 novel The House Without a Key served as the starting point for the mystery novel and film series featuring Charlie Chan, which the animated series was eventually based on. The series lasted for one season with only 16 episodes, with a few of the early episodes being redubbed when a new cast of voice actors was appointed, replacing the previous ones for their thick accents, which were apparently too difficult for the American audience.
Bestow on you and tag the royal merit of gratitude.
The Adventures of Gulliver. A loose animated adaptation of Jonathan Swift's satirical novel Gulliver's Travels was titled The Adventures of Gulliver and lasted for a season on ABC TV. When Gary Gulliver and his dog Tag go on a treasure quest with Gary's father, they wind up stuck on an island. The kingdom of Lilliput, whose citizens are barely a few centimeters tall, is located on the island. Gary and Tag become close friends with the Lilliputians after being captured by them. The Lilliputians offer their help, as Gary's main objective is to find his absent father. The series also features a secondary plot about the map Gary's father hid inside Tag's collar before the shipwreck. Captain Leach, the antagonist of the series, is always attempting to steal Gary's map. A significant character portrayed in the series is a loyal and brave Lilliputian soldier named Bunko, who becomes one of Gary's closest allies and friends. Bunko is a beloved character known for his sharp wit and undying support for Gary. Gary also befriends Prince David, the Lilliputian king's son. The Adventures of Gulliver served as one of the most significant works of literature in the form of an animated series that combined action, adventure, and the best of humor to create a timeless piece of media.
Right on!
Yogi's Space Race. With a parodied logo of Star Wars, Yogi's Space Race featured some of the classic characters of the Yogi Bear franchise with a cast of other Hanna-Barbera characters as they competed in a series of intergalactic races against other teams from across the galaxy. The show was divided into 4 segments: Yogi's Space Race, Galaxy Goof-Ups, The Buford Files, and The Galloping Ghost, unlike the original franchise. Yogi's friend Boo Boo doesn't participate in the race and is replaced by Scare Bear, who, as his name suggests, is easily afraid of things. The duo team up on Space Race and Galaxy Goof-Ups. The show also uses an unseen character to narrate and present the Space Race biography. Quack Up and Huckleberry Hound are also members of the Galaxy Goof-Ups, along with Yogi and Scare Bear. With the help of 2 teenagers named Woody and Cindy Mae, Buford, the protagonist of the Buford Files, is a dozy bloodhound who solves mysteries in Fenokee County. At the Fuddy Dude Ranch, Wendy and Rita are protected by Nugget Nose, a ghost miner and the main character of the Galloping Ghost. The 4 segments combined animation, comedy, adventure, and sports with a sci-fi twist, paired with some of the classic Hanna-Barbera characters. Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. With a theme similar to Speed Buggy, Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch premiered a year after the debut of the former. Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch is an animated series featuring a red stunt car named Wheelie, who has human-like abilities and communicates through car horn beeps and symbols flashing on his windscreen. He's often challenged by a group of motorcycles called the Chopper Bunch, led by Chopper, who is Wheelie's primary enemy and is determined to get rid of him and win over Wheelie's girlfriend, Rota Ree. The other members of the Chopper Bunch include Revs, who talks in spoonerisms, High Riser, the tallest with the lowest IQ, and Scrambles, the smallest and slowest, who's often ignored but always quick to say, "I told ya," after the fact. Wheelie also has mechanical hands that can produce any item he needs from his trunk. In terms of critical reception, several reviewers responded unfavorably to the violent content and depiction of motorcycles in the program, which led some viewers to write letters to NBC in an effort to have the show taken off the air. The Funky Phantom. The program was modeled after Hanna-Barbera's widely successful Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, and featured a group of 3 teenage investigators who traveled across the country and unraveled mysteries. However, instead of a ghostly figure, the show's Scooby-Doo character was a phantom from the Revolutionary War era. 3 teenagers, Skip Gilroy, April Stewart, and Augie Anderson, along with their dog Elmo, were driving their dune buggy, the Looney Tunes, in search of shelter from a storm. They stumbled upon an old house with an incorrect time displayed on its grandfather clock. After setting the clock to midnight, 2 Revolutionary War-era ghosts named Jonathan Wellington Muddlemore, nicknamed Mudsy, and his cat Boo were released. Mudsy and Boo explained that they'd been trapped inside the clock during the war and were unable to get out, eventually dying inside. The ghosts have since become friends with the teenagers, helping them solve many mysteries along the way. Some critics viewed the show as a copycat of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, with Mudsy and Boo replacing their titular characters. Some people complimented its original plot and cast of characters, while others thought Scooby-Doo and other Hanna-Barbera shows were better done. Some viewers thought the show's use of a ghost as its main character was a touch creepy for younger audiences, and the humor was occasionally criticized for being childish. Devlin. The popularity of motorcycle daredevil Evel Knievel inspired the creation of Ernie Devlin's character. Initially, the show was titled Wild Wheels, with the protagonist's name being Dare Devlin. However, ABC was worried about criticism that the series could promote hazardous activities. To avoid such criticism, the show's title was changed to Devlin, and the lead character's name was modified to Ernie. Additionally, ABC insisted on incorporating regular safety tips into the show's content. As a motorcycle stunt rider, Ernie Devlin participates in a traveling circus run by Hank McSummers. Todd and Sandy, his siblings, help him get ready for his stunts. They travel together, taking part in many different kinds of adventures. With thrilling stunts to watch, the animation quality is somewhat lacking, with minimal details and flat colors. The character development is also limited, with most of the focus on Ernie's stunts rather than the family's personal lives or relationships. Despite its flaws, Devlin is an enjoyable show for fans of action and adventure. It offers a fun and nostalgic look back at the 70s, with its focus on motorcycles and circus culture.
File Show, along with the Galloping Ghost.
Buford and the Galloping Ghost. This ensemble was a spin-off of Yogi's Space Race and consisted of 2 segments, the Buford Files and the Galloping Ghost. Buford is a bloodhound who lives in the Fanoki Swamp and is renowned for his laziness, gloomy bark, and amazing detective skills. Buford uses his keen sense of smell, together with the Boggs twins Woody and Cindy May, to solve the mystery surrounding the cases that puzzle Sheriff Mule Train and his dim-witted sidekick, Goofer McGee. Buford has ears that spin like radar dishes and a nose that responds to cues like a Geiger counter, which enhance his abilities even further. Buford has 2 serious flaws though. He screams non-stop when the moon is out, frequently during the riskiest circumstances, and he has an ongoing battle with a raccoon that wields a karate sword. In The Galloping Ghost, the energetic ghost of an Old West gold prospector named Nugget Nose rides his invisible horse on exciting adventures. He looks after Wendy and Rita, 2 young cowgirls working at the Fuddy Dude Ranch, owned by the cranky Fenwick Fuddy. When Fuddy threatens to fire them from their jobs, Nugget steps in to help by becoming invisible and offering assistance. He likes to irritate and torment Fuddy in funny and bizarre ways. When the girls are in trouble, Wendy can call on Nugget by touching her special gold Nugget necklace.
We'll get away from him now! Pugsley, look! Those clowns!
The Addams Family, 1973. The Addams Family, a close-knit extended family with a taste for the macabre and supernatural talents, is featured in the animated sitcom that's based on Charles Addams' single-panel comic for The New Yorker. Gomez and Morticia Addams, their kids Wednesday and Pugsley, Grandma, Uncle Fester, Thing, Cousin It, and their butler, Lurch, make up the Addams Family. Despite the lack of a clear explanation for their abilities, the Addamses are shown traveling around the country in a spooky camper that resembles their mansion. As they explore various locations, they often cause unintentional chaos due to their unconventional interests and mannerisms, although they sometimes help those in need and become unwittingly involved in criminal schemes. The Addams Family's eerie charm is expertly captured in the animation, which has a delightfully retro style. The voice acting is likewise excellent, with John Astin standing out as the passionate and eccentric Gomez. The 1973 animated version of The Addams Family is a fantastically bizarre and hilarious show that's sure to please fans of the franchise. It's a classic that endures to this day thanks to its eccentric characters, surreal humor, and frightening allure. Jana of the Jungle. Jana of the Jungle was a short-lived animated television series produced by Hanna-Barbera in 1978. B.J. Ward plays the role of Jana, a female Tarzan who ventures to the South American rainwoods in quest of her father, who vanished in a boating accident when she was a young girl. Jana is charming, sporting long blonde hair, animal skin clothing, and a necklace that can be used as a weapon. She also has a scream similar to Tarzan's that she uses to call different animals. Jana has 2 human pals in addition to her animal companions, Ghost the Jaguar and Tico the Water Possum. Dr. Ben Cooper, a young wildlife biologist, and Montaro, a member of a vanished warrior tribe who's armed with the Staff of Power. Jana was saved by Montaro from the boating mishap that killed her father. Croco the crocodile, Kachi the monkey, Pichu the bird, Nakto the bat, and Slither the snake are just a few of the animals that Jana can call for assistance. The minimal animation and recycled settings of the show are characteristic of Hanna-Barbera, yet Jana stands out as a strong and competent heroine thanks to the show's distinctive character design. As Jana and her friends struggle to defend the jungle and its inhabitants from outside threats like poachers and illegal loggers, the show clearly has an environmental message. It might not have endured as long or had the same cultural influence as other works by Hanna-Barbera, but it's nevertheless an entertaining and intriguing example of the studio's late 1970s production. The golden age of animation has produced countless memorable cartoons that have not only found a place in the hearts of people of all ages, but have also stood the test of time and remain as iconic as they were to begin with. The decade of the 70s was marked by groundbreaking innovations in the animation industry, with experimental technology, the creation of languages specifically dedicated to a character or a show, and zany humor, backed by classic laugh tracks. Whether you grew up in the 70s or are discovering these classics for the first time, there's no denying the timeless appeal of these cartoons.